Okay, hello Yixuan. Hi Jasmine. Oh no, this is a bit loud. Let me try to bring it down a little bit. Hopefully this is better. Maybe. Okay. Yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. Hey, let me know how your Zoom classes went. Okay. Yixuan and Jasmine. Did it go alright? I think you guys are fine. You guys are pretty technologically hopefully this is better. Maybe. I think you guys are more technologically savvy, right? Ishu and Jasmine. Hi Zach. Hi Chloe. Yeah, Zach, I gotta talk to you, buddy. Okay, look, I understand you want to ask questions, but now that there's so many WhatsApp groups, and this is the digital noise that comes with online messaging, which is so much easier, right? It's so you gotta think. Take a second, pause, think before you ask those questions. Think about, well, where can I find the answer first? At least make that effort to try and try to find the answer for that question before disturbing everyone with that message. Okay, I know these are trying times. This is an experience for all of us to learn. We're all learning new skills, new etiquette means a way of doing things. So know your digital etiquette. Okay, to be fair, it's not just students, teachers are learning it as well. I have to train them. Okay, knowing when to ask something, when is the appropriate time. Make sure you check your messages, all that good stuff. Okay, all right, so I've got 5 of you. I got Ishan, Jasmine, Zach, Chloe, Esther. Hello. Yeah, Esther, you want to go ahead and post your questions then we can talk about this. Those of you who have your textbooks, we're going to address some questions that Esther has, and that's on page page 46. Okay, those of you who have your textbooks, let's go to page 46. Who else is not here? Sean, always not on time. Why? Yes, thank you, Zach, for. Okay, I think it's only left Ryan. Kohan, are we missing anyone else besides Thomas and William? They have had internet connectivity issues, so there's really nothing we can do there. So we got Ishan, Jasmine, Zach. Okay, Ryan, so where's Adam and Omar? So, Kohan, can you go ahead and give Adam and Omar a phone call? Okay, a phone call. Why a phone call? Because then we can get an instant response. Just ask them where they are. Since you are using your laptop, right? I believe. Or who else is using a laptop here? Okay, Sean, sure. Um, let me do it myself. Wait, what did it say? Omar doesn't take business. Okay, thank you, Zach, for that. What about Adam though? Does Adam not take business studies? Thank you, Kohan, for calling Adam. Okay, once we hear back from Kohan, then we can begin the class proper then, okay? See, YouTube is plenty interactive, so once again, we're just having to deal with all the teachers' preferences and all that. But hopefully your Zoom session with Mr. Gunn earlier was good, and this enables him to showcase more visual content, right? Stuff on his laptop, YouTube videos. Ms. Venny does not have a laptop, but she will still try, okay, to show you guys stuff via her phone. Miss Bobby, we're still training her. Mr. Tan, we're still training him. So give them some time and be patient with them, okay? Okay, hurry up, Esther. These are your questions. So, Esther, you got 1 minute. Okay, so heads up, those of you who have a textbooks, turn to okay, he isn't picking up. Okay, now that's fine. We'll just wait till we hear back from Esther. Once she's gotten her soup, then we can all begin. The rest of you with your textbooks, please turn open to chapter 4, types of business organizations, and specifically turn open to page 46, okay? Let me just type something real quick. Okay, all right, let's begin. Okay, Esther's back. Okay, that's fine. All right, everyone, welcome to class. Okay, so as you can tell, new setup, just to change things up a little bit and make you guys more attentive. Maybe, I don't know. Does the background make you more attentive? I guess we'll find out. Okay, so we're gonna start off with some of the questions that Esther has asked in the live chat, so you guys can see her questions there, right? Now, tell you what, in the meantime, I think Guohan and Ryan, since you guys should have gone through this part already, I'll leave it to Guohan and Ryan to take this offline to try and get a hold of Adam. Although Ryan, I think that because you use your phone, it'll be hard for you to get a hold of Adam. So it's fine. I think just stay in the class, just Guohan then, because Guohan uses his laptop, so he still has his phone free to try and get a hold of Adam. Okay. Anyways, we're gonna begin. Okay. So the first question here is, when does a franchisee want to buy a share of a company? Now you're confusing two different things here. Okay. So let's quickly review what the definition of a franchise is. So here you go. Okay, so the franchise is a business based upon the use of a brand name, promotional logos, and training methods of an existing successful business. Okay, the franchise buys a license to operate this business from the franchisor. Now, just to give you guys a refresher, this is an example of a franchise. Okay, so McDonald's in the US, they do not own and operate every single McDonald's in the whole world. Okay, they don't. Okay. By the way, this is a cool website, mfa.org.my. I want to say I did an event for them before, but I can't remember now. It's been so long. But I know I've spoken to either their boss or something, or chairman or something, and like he also handles the Subway franchises here in Malaysia. So these are some examples of the franchises in Malaysia. I don't know what Myco is. Have you guys heard of it? Let me know. Miss Reed, I know you guys have seen some of this, right? If we go to the first page, you'll see some examples here. So these are the kind of franchise opportunities you have in Malaysia. 100 Vision, 7-Eleven, that's a popular one we all know, right? Aeon Credit Service, blah blah blah. Vivo, I've seen them in some malls. I've not seen this one before. Ani Soup Utara. Yeah, okay, all these different examples. Okay, so again, going back to the definition of hold on, franchise is right here. Okay, so Esther, your question is a bit misplaced. Okay, when does a franchisee want to buy a share of a company? Well, they can, but that's like just saying anyone can buy the share of a company. So you want to buy a share of a company when you want to own a piece of the company, okay? But franchisees do not need to buy the share of the company, like the franchisor, in order to open a franchise. Okay, so for example, if let's say you want to open a McDonald's, you do not need to buy a share in McDonald's in order to open a McDonald's. No, you can just enter a franchisee agreement. So likewise with 7-Eleven, you can buy 7-Eleven Malaysia shares on the Malaysian stock market. I believe you do not have to purchase a share in 7-Eleven Malaysia in order for you to open a franchise. Okay, so that question is a bit off. Okay, so Esther, let me know if that makes sense now. Okay, so that was your first question. When does a franchisee want to buy a share of a company? Well, it just be like any other individual. Okay, you want to buy a share because you want to own a piece of that company. You want to grow wealth, you want to get its dividends, whatever the reason might be, you just like the company, you want to attend their annual general meetings for free food, whatever the reason might be, you then just buy it, okay? All right, so I think I've answered that second one as well, and also why would a franchisee want a share? So based on those reasons, it would be the same reason as anyone wanting a share of a company, okay? So Esther, let me know in the comments whether you understand or not. Okay, now this is a good time to review the franchisor and franchisee section. So there are page 46 in the textbook if you have them. Okay, if you don't, okay, firstly I want to make sure that you understand what a franchise is, what the business model is. We have already seen a definition, we have seen some examples, so now let's review. Okay, he doesn't take business, he takes accounting and econs. Okay, thank you, Kohan, for the update, and thank you, Esther, for the confirmation that you understand. Okay, now let's go to some of the advantages and disadvantages. Okay, so take some time to go through this. I know it's a bit small, that's as big as I can get it on the screen. Okay, give yourself a few minutes to go through all this if you do not have a textbook. If you do have your textbook, it's on page 46. Okay, so the advantage for the franchisor is that the franchisee, that means the person who wants to use the model or the brand or use a license from the franchisor, so they have to buy the license from the franchisor. That means the franchisor, the person who's giving the license to someone else to operate, gets money, obviously. All right, so the franchisor can then expand a lot faster, right? So McDonald's, for example, McDonald's would need a lot more time and a lot more money and need to hire a lot more people in order to run every single McDonald's restaurant in the world, right? As opposed to, they say, all right, hey, if you have an extra 1.5 million ringgit, you can be a franchisee. Right, so you give me the 1.5 million ringgit, then I'll tell you how to set up the McDonald's in Puchong, and then you go set it up, right? So then it's the franchisee that has to get the money, hire the people, find a good location, all those things. Of course, the franchisor, depending on what kind of brand it is, the franchisor obviously has a say in where you set up, how you run a business, because they want to make sure that they can protect their brand, right? So if let's say, I don't know, think about this. How many of you want to, if let's say I want to open a McDonald's here in VisiTutor, are you guys okay with that? Let me know in the comments. All right, but it'd be kind of weird if you have a McDonald's just up here on the 4th floor and no one really comes here. Are you guys, all 50 of you, able to sustain my McDonald's, which is going to cost me like 1.5 million ringgit to start one? Okay, and that's not even the operating costs. Yeah, so yeah, probably McDonald's, the franchisor, would say no McDonald's in VisiTutor. Okay, all right, so Sean is asking, would a franchisee technically own part of a company? No. Okay, so good question, but no. So the franchisee, they own their own company. Okay, so let's say I set up my own company. I call it Mr. Han Sendirian Berhad. Okay, then I am running that company, and that company, Mr. Han Sendirian Berhad, happens to own the license to run a McDonald's. Okay, do I own a part of McDonald's? No. What I do own is a license to operate a McDonald's. I don't own a share of the actual big McDonald's corporation in the US. Okay. Ryan, what do I mean by returns to shareholders? No, Sean, I'm not going to open a McDonald's. Ryan asks, what do you mean by returns to shareholders? So there are some companies where when they list their shares on the stock market, if you buy a share of the company, and then when the company earns money, like gets profits, some companies will then say, okay, we're going to share like 7% or 10% or 50% of our profits with all our shareholders. Okay, so companies like Maybank does that, like I can't remember now. The first one that comes to mind is Maybank, because I've been following them quite a bit. So there are companies like that. Okay, you can pay dividends, and we'll study that later. Pay dividends to shareholders. Okay, but anyways, coming back to this. Okay, so these are the advantages. Okay, so we've done the first two advantages to the franchisor. Third one is the management is responsible of the franchisee. All right, so likewise, if Mr. Han Sendirian Berhad has a license to run a McDonald's here at VisiTutor, right, I am responsible, okay, as opposed to the franchisor. The franchisor has less to deal with, less headache when it comes to hiring and firing people. If let's say there's a spill or a rat problem at that particular McDonald's, right, it's the franchisee that handles it and not the franchisor. Okay, and then the good thing is also then all products must be obtained from the franchisor. That means I've got guaranteed sales in a way, right? So no matter what, McDonald's that's run by Mr. Han Sendirian Berhad has to always buy the goods from McDonald's, like the big mama, the big company McDonald's in the US. So they've got constant sales there, or at least secure sales there. Okay, just like Cha Time. When Cha Time first opened in Malaysia, Cha Time Malaysia was supposed to all buy their cups, their straws, the pearls, all the raw materials from Cha Time Taiwan, right? And then long story short, there was a dispute because Cha Time Malaysia allegedly, sneakily, did not buy all their goods and supplies from Cha Time Taiwan. So that's why they split up, and now Cha Time Malaysia became T Life. Well, technically, no, not really. There's still another Cha Time Malaysia, but T Life was born out of the dispute. Okay. Anyway, so those are the advantages for the franchisor. Advantages for the franchisee. Okay, so first one is the chances of your business failing is much reduced because you've got a well-known product. So it's easier for me, Mr. Han, to open up a McDonald's because I don't need to educate people about McDonald's. Everyone knows McDonald's, right? As opposed to, let's say I start up a business selling Mr. Han's Hang Bao Bao. Isn't that what you call burgers in Chinese? Hang Bao Bao? Yeah, maybe. Anyway, so Mr. Han's Hang Bao Baos. I'll go with that until someone tells me otherwise and that Hang Bao Bao means something else. Okay, but so if I do that, then customers might be, well, what is Mr. Han's Hang Bao Baos, and does it taste nice? What else do you have on your menu? How much does it cost? What kind of promos do you have? So you have to spend a lot of time educating all these new customers. Right? As opposed to, hey, I'm opening a McDonald's. Easy. Everyone knows what you can order at McDonald's, right? So that's the advantage. Okay. Another advantage for the franchisee is the franchisor that pays for advertising. Well, thank you, Jasmine, for confirming that Hang Bao Bao means hamburgers. Yes, I like the sound of that. Hey, Mr. Han's Hang Bao Baos. Yeah. Anyways. Well, Yixuan, you just don't know how delicious Mr. Han's Hanbaobaos are, okay? I'll open up one when you get back. Right here in VisiTutor, and we'll see how it goes. Yeah. Okay. So anyways, coming back to this chart here. So what does the franchisor do for the company? Okay, Esther, so what does the franchisor do for the company? So what the franchisor does is that it gives me the license to run it. And as you can see from the advantages to the franchisee, it's a lot easier for me, right? McDonald's has done all the hard work in building up the menu, building up a global customer base, doing all the advertising, right? They know how the menu is supposed to look like, how much to charge it. They have handled everything for me. Okay, so I have to think a lot less. I just give them money, I don't have to think, and I just run the restaurant, okay, as per how McDonald's should be run, okay? And that's a great way to, you know, that's an easier way to run a business, at least I think, okay? So the franchisor doesn't necessarily have to put capital into the franchisee. No, okay, Esther? It's the franchisee who has to put capital into it. Or has to put more capital into it. Yeah, the franchisor can put a little bit, but not much. The main bulk of the capital comes from the franchisee, okay? Just so you know that. Very good question though, okay? I hope it's making sense now. As to let me know if it makes sense. Anyways, while I'm waiting for your response, we'll come back to this. So, and this third point also answers, the second point under advantage to the franchisee. Okay, second point for advantages for the franchisee also answers your question there, Esther, saying that the franchisor pays for advertising. Okay, so if Mr. Han opens a McDonald's, it's not me who has to pay for advertising. No, okay, it's the franchisor. McDonald's Malaysia has all the money from the McDonald's in the US, and then they can run the advertising for me. Okay. A franchisor Esther asks, a franchisor is kind of like a manager. No. It's the franchisee who is the manager. Okay. Okay, fine. The franchisor is the manager for the global stage. Okay, but who manages the actual store? The franchisee. Okay. Who is the owner of the franchise? It will be the franchisor. The franchisee only owns the license to run the McDonald's. The franchisee does not own McDonald's. They can just operate it. Okay, they can just run the restaurant. Okay, but great. Keep these questions coming in. Okay. So third advantage. Okay, all supplies are obtained from a central source, the franchisor. Now, how is that an advantage for the franchisee? Well, the franchisee no longer has to go all around town, try to find frozen chicken, frozen fries, the oil, the salt, the trays, the menu designer. Nah, don't need all of that, right? Why? Because you can get everything from the franchisor. So that's less headache for you. In fact, I interviewed it was this company that had the contract to build all of the furniture inside the Starbucks, not just in Malaysia, but all over Asia. So they make money, right? Essentially, if Starbucks wants to open a new Starbucks outlet somewhere in Asia, then this company has the license to do all of the furniture inside the Starbucks, okay? So for the franchisee's part, easy. Right, the franchisee doesn't have to go look for a carpenter, make sure it's a good one that can build it to the specifications that Starbucks in Seattle wants it to be. Right? They know, okay, if I sign this franchising agreement with the franchisor, Starbucks, okay, everything's sorted. I just do it according to the list. I get all my coffee from Starbucks. I get all my cups from there. I have to find my own workers. But when it comes to building furniture, I just get this same guy. Everything's on that list. Okay? So that makes it easier. Chloe says, so basically the franchisee are the cashiers and cleaners. No, No. The franchisee is the one running the restaurant. So there's one businessman, okay? So for example, in Malaysia, if you want to open a McDonald's, I think you need about 1.3 or 1.5 million ringgit, okay? Let's say I'm that person, so I pay McDonald's, the franchisor, McDonald's, hey McDonald's, here's 1.5 million ringgit. Then McDonald's gives me the rights to run a McDonald's, right? Now, I have to hire cashiers, I have to hire cleaners, I have to hire delivery guys, I have to hire people to make the burgers and fries and the chicken and whatnot, right? So all that is part of the operations, but I am the franchisee. I own the license to run the McDonald's, okay? So it's not the cleaners and the cashiers, nah, okay? They're just my employees. I'm the franchisee. I own the license to run the McDonald's, okay? Hope that makes sense now. Yeah. Okay. While we're waiting for some more questions, let's come back to this. Okay. So, all supplies are obtained from a central source. Yeah. Okay. So that's easier for the franchisee. It's an advantage. I don't have to search high and low for all kinds of suppliers and people to help me build this restaurant. Okay. So training for staff and management is provided by the franchisor. In fact, there are some very, very successful management systems that have come out of this franchising business. So such as McDonald's, Chick-fil-A is pretty famous for that as well. We don't have Chick-fil-A here in Malaysia, but Chick-fil-A is my favorite, all-time favorite fast food restaurant. We have it in the States, but yeah, it's awesome. Okay, Sean asks, is it a must to get all your materials from the franchisor? The rule of thumb is yes, okay? It is a rule of thumb for you to get. Now, there are some franchisors that I guess are more slack. So different franchisors have different rules, okay? Chatime has got different rules. Chatime and McDonald's has different rules. Starbucks has different rules. But generally, yes, the franchisor would want the franchisee to get as much stuff from the franchisor, right? Why? That way it's guaranteed sales. You can't buy it from anyone else, right? Let's say your hamburger patties, I want my franchisees to get it from me, right? Because they give me money, I give them hampapaos. As opposed to they go get their hamburgers from somewhere else, that's an opportunity cost on me, right? That's money that's not coming to me, right? So yeah, I wouldn't say it's a must, but most franchisors would want all of their franchisees to get as much as possible from them, okay? Obviously, it's not everything, because sometimes logistically it's harder. Let's say you want to get like a plastic cup cover, order it from the US. It takes so long, right? When sometimes you can just go down the street and order from another supplier, right? So yeah. No, so Esther, the franchisor would want the franchisees to get as much materials from the franchisor as much as possible. Okay, hope that all makes sense. Okay, we've got a few more minutes. Let's finish this again. So we've gone to the fourth bullet point. Final bullet point for advantages to the franchisee. Banks are often willing to lend to franchisees due to relatively low risk. Yeah, so obviously it's a lower risk for me, Mr. Han, to open a McDonald's because everyone knows McDonald's, as opposed to Mr. Han opens a store called Mr. Han's Hampabaos, and I got to spend more money doing my own advertising. I have to spend more money on marketing. Why? Because I have to tell people what Mr. Han's Hampabaos are. Maybe I have to cook a lot of free samples and give it to people so that they get used to eating Mr. Han's Hampabaos, so that they can want it or even think about it the next time they are hungry. So all those things come at a cost, right? That's not profit. So if a bank looks at Mr. Han's Hampabaos and says, well, your burgers aren't that great, and you have to spend a lot of money to market and educate and teach your potential customers, that money that's spent on your business and marketing is money that you cannot use to pay me back, right? That's the opportunity cost. So the banks might be less willing to give them give them a loan. Okay. All right. So Ryan, great question. Can VisiTutor be a franchise? Yes. Okay, but that's a great question to the next section. But there are disadvantages as well. All right. So here we go. Now, what are the disadvantages for the franchisor? So number one, poor management of one franchise outlet could lead to a bad reputation for the whole business. Now, you guys remember the reason why VisiTutor has been able to churn out so many, or the reason why VisiTutor has had such a track record is because we can watch our quality, right? Mr. Tan is able to watch over the 50, 60 of you. It's a lot easier to manage, right? And if teachers aren't performing, then can find new teachers, right? So we can control the quality. Well, if we franchise VisiTutor and the franchisee just simply hires, whoever his neighbor, some random person that cannot teach well, and opens a VisiTutor in, say, Ampang, right, which is very far away, we wouldn't be able to control the quality, right? And so that's a risk to us, right? So that'll be a disadvantage to the franchisor. Okay, second one, the franchisee keeps profits from the outlet. All right, so if VisiTutor has a franchise model, yes, we can get money if, let's say, the VisiTutor Ampang pays us a license fee every year, but it also means that the money that VisiTutor Ampang gets from their students will not go to Mr. Tan. It will just be kept by who the franchisee is, right? Whoever opened up VisiTutor Ampang. So it was for those reasons that VisiTutor is not a franchise model. But then there are some franchise models, like you guys have seen the Cambridge English school, I think the Cambridge centers, right, all around town with the red and white signboards. That's an example of a franchise model. Okay, I've seen your questions. Let me try and answer them real quick. Why would it be advised, Esther asks, why would it be advised that the franchise gets more of the materials from the franchisor, right? It's secure, right? So you don't have to hunt high and low. You don't have to deal with, say, 10 different sources of materials. You only need to deal with one, really, right? And if it fails, you know who to blame, right? You know who's responsible for it, right? That, say, being McDonald's, right? And then for the franchisor, it's advised because that way it's more guaranteed income for me, right? All my franchisees has to buy from McDonald's, all my stuff, okay? Burgers, fries, etc., etc. Okay. Chloe asks or says, so in summary, franchisee equals manager boss and franchisor is producer. No, Chloe, those terms have different meanings, okay? Franchisee, manager, boss, producers, they all have different meanings. Just know the difference between franchisor and franchisee. The simplest way I can put it is the franchisor is the ultimate owner for the entire thing. Okay, the McDonald's brand is ultimately owned by McDonald's in the US. They are the true owners. Okay, the franchisee is just the owner of the operations for that one store only. Okay, I mean, some franchisees open multiple stores if they're rich enough, and there are people like that. And so whatever stores that they own, they just own the license for that stores. Okay, just a few. Okay, so it's more about the ownership and the operations more than anything else. Okay. Yes, Esther, VisiTutor is a sole trader, sole proprietor. Sean, yes, it is possible to have quality checks, but then that's a cost to me, right? That means either myself or Mr. Tan will have to drive all the way to Ampang, VisiTutor Ampang, spend a whole day there watching the students, watching the teachers, right? But when we study this in sociology, and we will study this in level 3, there's an interviewer effect, right? The moment I'm there, or the moment Mr. Tan is there to do the quality check, everyone's on their best behavior, the teachers, are so energetic, the students are all attentive. But as soon as I leave, then they say, we don't care about class, fun, yay, who cares about homework, right? So those are the kinds of risks that are taken. Now, if let's say the franchisor is okay with such risks, whereby my quality or my brand could be eroded, as long as the franchisee pays me, the franchisor, enough money, then okay, right? But for VisiTutor, no. So to answer your question, Sean, is it possible to do a quality check? Yes, but is it worth it? There's the cost versus the benefit. No, yeah, we'll let it be. Okay. All right. Oh, real quick, let's finish this. So those are the disadvantages for the franchisor on the left. So on the right, what are the disadvantages for the franchisee? Okay, number one, less independence than operating a non-franchise business. So if let's say Mr. Han operates Mr. Han's Hang Pao Paos, I can do whatever I want with the Hang Pao Pao. I can sell lamb Hang Pao Pao, ostrich Hang Pao Pao, alligator Hang Pao Pao, whatever. But if I run a McDonald's, I'm not allowed to sell ostrich burger or an alligator burger. I can't, right? Because McDonald's says no, right? So I have less independence there. Okay. Anybody here had alligator meat before? I've had alligator meat. Lamb, definitely. I've had ostrich, yes. I've had ostrich eggs as well, yes. I don't remember what they taste like. They probably all just taste like chicken. Okay, anyways, so that's the first disadvantage. Second disadvantage, may be unable to make decisions that would suit the local area. Okay, so well, McDonald's is good in this sense, right? Because they often have localized menus. So, you know, here in Malaysia, McDonald's Malaysia, you can find porridge and nasi lemak. Like what? Well, you would not find porridge or nasi lemak in the McDonald's in the US. Why? Because it's not localized food over there. So McDonald's is good in that sense. But there are some, okay, say Starbucks, right? Starbucks, I don't know. Let's say, what do you guys like to drink? That's very Malaysian. Teh ice, right? Now, even though teh ice is so popular in Malaysia, but at least Mamak style teh ice, right? But Starbucks wouldn't sell it because why? Starbucks says no, okay? Or if let's say, I don't know, yeah, I mean, so the idea is that, you know, you may not be able to make, you know, specific decisions that you want to as a franchisee. Why? Because the franchisor says no. Okay, so the first 2 points are kind of related. You'll really be cruel to animals. Well, Chloe, you know, I mean, I hope they were slaughtered humanely for my consumption. But anyways, that's not on my conscience. Okay, last one. So the disadvantage for the franchisee is that you obviously have to pay a license fee. Okay, it can be a percentage of your annual income, or sometimes it's a fixed fee. So what many franchisors do, at least based on the models I've seen, you got to pay quite a bit. So number one, every year you have to pay a minimum or like a fixed fee. Okay, like a franchisee fee. Okay, that's number one. Then number two, you got to pay an advertising fee, right? So on top of your franchising fee, you have to pay your franchisor a certain amount every year because they do the advertising for you. And then number three, they also then charge you a percentage of your sales or net profit or something, one of those. So there are a lot of fees you have to pay. So as a franchisee, you got to ask yourself, well, is it worth it to pay all that money and give up profits that I could keep on your own? Right? But on the flip side, you can also say, well, if I didn't use that brand, my business may not be as successful, right? Chances of me selling, say 1,000 Mr. Han Hang Pao Paos a month is probably a lot less than me being able to sell 1,000 McDonald's burgers in a month, right? So those are some of the advantages and disadvantages, which brings us right up to 3 p.m. at least now. I know it's a bit delayed for you guys, but all right, we'll leave it at that. Great, this has been a very productive class, interactive, obviously. And the good thing about the comments is that you're free to address those. You're free to make those comments without disrupting the class per se, right? As opposed to verbally making it known or verbally stating your comment, right, which can sometimes be quite disruptive, right, Sean? Yep. Okay, so with that said, class is over. I'll leave it on for another minute or so to see if you guys got any other questions. It's just about 40 minutes on the dot. Okay. Okay. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day. Say bye before you log out. Okay. Otherwise, if you've got questions about a class for today, about franchisee and franchisors, let me know. Okay. Ryan, you've been quite quiet in this class. Likewise, Jasmine and Yixuan. So feel free to leave any comments or questions. If not, just say bye, and I'll say bye-bye. Okay, thank you, Ryan. Bye-bye. Okay, bye, Sean. Bye, Ryan. Bye, Yixuan. Thank you. Bye, Zach. Bye, Jasmine. Esther, you got any questions for me? Okay, bye. All right, so that's it then, I think. I didn't miss anyone else. Kwan, have you said bye? Thank you, Ryan. You have a nice day too. Kwan, you don't want to leave? You want to keep looking at this Facebook URL? Okay, great. Yeah. No, wait. Yeah. VisiTutor. Okay, bye.